Alrighty, I am pleased to be joined by the guys at the Take a Pitch podcast, Max Lutzker and Billy. How's it going, guys?
How you doing, man?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk about some baseball. We've been talking a lot about basketball recently, so we really haven't got the chance to interview someone with a baseball podcast, but I'm really glad you guys came on. Before we start the interview, or before we start talking more about the baseball season so far, if you guys can tell us more about your podcast. I saw that you had some pretty sick hats. I'll put a link in the description down below for your guys' shop. But if you just want to tell us more about the Take a Pitch podcast.
All right. So basically, Take a Pitch is a podcast we started, 2019, January 2019.
Well, yeah, that's when the first episode was, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like so long ago now. So we came up with this idea. So I went to school for broadcasting. It's something I've always wanted to do. And I approached Billy with the idea because Billy and I were teammates in high school. We played ball together. Well, he played, I sat on the bench. And we came up with this idea where we talk about baseball in our daily life. It's pretty much all we talk about. So we're like, let's just set up microphones and do a podcast. Why not? And I think the exact words were, fuck it, let's do a podcast. Why not? And that's really how it became a thing. We did like a little mock podcast and took off from there.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. I saw the podcast over, I think it was through Instagram or whatever. But again, yeah, that was awesome. You guys responded back, so I was excited about that. Now, of course, the baseball season has been different than we expected. The fans are back and everything. It's actually a 162-game season. But we see how good the Giants and Brewers have been this season. And not many expected those teams to be that good. I mean, the Giants really haven't been relevant since 2014. But what have you guys thought about their performance this season?
Well, I'll say real quick that if there's anyone on earth that deserves the credit for calling the Brewers as one of the top teams, it's Billy. This guy, I'm telling you, this guy is straight up on his stuff. He knows it. He called Chris Davis's hit that broke the slump. This guy knows what he's doing. I think out of the four of us who do the podcast, Billy actually called the Brewers are going to be a top team.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, sorry. What was that?
Yeah. I mean, they have great roster construction, top to bottom. So yeah, I mean, see it coming.
Yeah, I think most people, at least in the NL, thought the Dodgers and Padres would be the top team. In the NL Central, they kind of thought it would be the Cardinals. And, of course, the Dodgers and Padres have had a pretty good season, but not quite like the Giants. And, yeah, the Giants have not been relevant since, 2014 when they won the World Series.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of a down – I'm just really surprised. Of course, Buster Posey has been great. What have you guys thought about his performance this season?
Miracle. I mean, someone like him, he's you could probably say that he's top 10 catcher all time at this point, in his career. So it's not surprising to see him come back and have a rejuvenated year like this, especially, he took off the last year with, COVID and everything. And to get him off his knees and rejuvenate the knees and everything and get him back to being Buster Posey, that was probably huge for him. And, if anybody is going to do it, it would be Buster Posey.
Yeah, I mean, with Posey and the Giants as a whole, this is a team that doesn't rely on egos and stuff like that. And they're really well built. And Posey is probably one of the most, and as Billy said, that he's a top 10 all time. I still think he's relatively underrated in the grand scheme of things because the Giants have Joey Bart in the system he's hyped up to be the next big thing. And Posey's only 32, 33?
34 almost.
He's not that old to where we're talking about he's retiring in the next year or so. So I feel like Posey's overlooked, and as a result, his fantastic season's been overlooked by so many people. And it's really nice to see a guy like Posey come back and do what he's doing, because for a while people were like, oh, he's washed up and the ankle injury, all this and that. But, this guy's still hitting, still playing well, and he's catching the majority of the games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems like, well, I mean, Buster Posey, I mean, he's got 3 World Series rings. He's got an MVP. He had so much stuff accomplished for his first few years. It was just crazy. And I think he won Rookie of the Year back in 2010. So he's got everything that a baseball player wants. I mean, I didn't really think about it, but yeah, he probably is at the end of the day a top 10 catcher of all time. And yeah, he's just accomplished so much. And I feel like most catchers get worse after a few years. And like I said, he's 33, and that's rare to be that good. It's kind of like a running back in the NFL where they only have a shorter period of time. And of course there's good catchers like Yadier Molina is still really good. And there's other catchers as well, but it seems like catchers get worse as they age, like it's similar to a running back, but it's just been really fun. I mean, looking at his stats, he's batting 330. It's incredible what he's done. Do you guys think with all the injuries to Jacob deGrom and the injuries to Fernando Tatis and with what Ronald Acuna kind of had a good early season, but he's kind of cooled off, do you think Posey is the front runner for the MVP?
So this is actually a conversation we have almost daily. Posey is going to get some votes. He's not a front runner, I don't think. With Acuna's injury, with DeGrom's injury, and Tatis missing what, 38 games right now, I think, or something like that?
Yeah.
I think the front runner is either really is Bryce Harper or Tatis. I think it's really a 2-man race here.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, Max Muncy can be in it, and he's had a great year, and despite the fact that I irrationally hate him. I think the front runner has to be either Harper or Tatis in my eyes, at least. I know Billy's a big Bryce Harper guy.
I'm a big Bryce Harper fan, yes, but I do think that the MVP. I mean, it's just so hard to not take Tatis as the MVP. He does everything. Like on MLB Network the other day, I saw something. They were like, if you could put one player at every position, who would it be? And I think the pretty easy, the easy answer would probably be Tatis. He's just so well-rounded. He's a 5-tool player, and what he does is insane. Yeah,
and I think, just Tatis. I think, he would be the front runner, and he would probably be unanimous if it wasn't for so many injuries that he's dealt with. But again, there's 162 games, so I feel like you can miss that. I think Mike Trout won the MVP one year, and he missed like 20 or 30 games.
Yeah.
So I can understand if he still wins the MVP. On the AL side of things, it's probably going to be Ohtani. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Vlad Jr. get a little more love, but like Ohtani does it both ways, and he's having success pitching. He's finding his way there. He walks the world, though. That's the only thing I have against him when pitching. Again, another conversation we have almost daily in our group chat. I'm just kind of, when it comes to Ohtani, I'm tired of everyone overhyping him. Like, yeah, he's good. Don't get me wrong. I have an Ohtani shirt myself. He's probably one of the best things to happen to the sport in a long time. But man, we don't have to dick ride him the entire time. It's crazy. I do think he is the front runner for MVP, though. I mean, you can't. He's what? 39 homers right now.
39 and a 2.93 last I saw ERA.
And stealing what, 15 bases, almost 20 bases. It's hard to argue with those numbers.
Yeah, I mean, when you're doing it for both sides, I mean, and at an elite level, even if his pitching wasn't elite, which being a sub-3 is elite. Even if he was like around a 4, he's still going out there every 5 days and putting up decent numbers enough, good enough to help your team win. And then he's on another planet offensively and hitting a home run like what it feels like every day. It's hard to argue with that.
And yeah, he's really good for the sport. I mean, again, it gets people talking about him, and like he can do so much. Like you said, I didn't realize how many stolen bases he had. Like he can do it all. But do you guys or how long do you think he can actually do this? Where pitching, hitting, doing all that stuff, it's probably going to eventually take a toll. It probably already is. But like, how long do you think it can actually last?
Personally, I would be surprised if he does anything even close to this anytime ever again. I think it's hard to, go to this level ever again.
Yeah, it's. I think he'll either get to this level on one side or the other. I don't think he'll do it both ways, though. I mean, MLB deadened the balls, and they said it so that way. Obviously, his ERA is going to look better because the balls aren't flying at that like they have been. But on the other hand, he's hitting 39 home runs with dead balls. So only imagine if they put more cork in the balls, he's hitting 60, 70 regularly. I mean, this dude hits him, 470? With ease. I think that the fact that he's as a two-way player, 2-3 years of consistently good numbers. But nothing near this
27,
level.
So yeah, give him a few years where he's going to be good from both sides, but
nothing near this level.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to be elite.
Yeah, and the one thing I wish the Angels would do a little better would be to win more. I mean, of course, Mike Trout. I feel like Mike Trout is still the best player in baseball, and Ohtani still isn't the best player in his team. It's Mike Trout, but I just wish that the Angels could get better because imagine how popular Mike Trout would be. And Ohtani is already popular as it is, but I feel like Ohtani's more popular than Trout right now just because what he's been able to do. But I just wish the Angels could get better because imagine how good they would be with two, like I said, if Ohtani wins the MVP, you already have two MVPs on your team, but nothing really else.
Let's not forget they have Anthony Rendon, too, who's been injured since they signed him to that, $230 million deal?
No, he played last year.
Mm-hmm. He got hurt a little bit, though. But last year, was he underperformed? Or there was some sort of something?
He had a nice year last year. It's just, the Angels are the Mets. They're the same thing. They're the little brother to the Dodgers. Mets are little brother to the Yankees. So they're always going to be, a little more under the radar,
And this is kind of my question, and I feel like Mike Trout really likes it where he's at. But do you think if the Angels within the next 5 years, he signed that big deal back in 2019, I think it was, or 2018? I think it was 2019.
I think it was 2019.
Yeah. Yeah, and do you think eventually he will be traded out if the Angels can't succeed?
No. I don't see it happening. I think that it's hard to even have that discussion because you look at the Angels, you look at a franchise that's starved for, a star. They had Nolan Ryan, but they're not known for having Nolan Ryan. They had Reggie Jackson. They're not known for having Reggie Jackson. This is a team that throughout their history has had stars, and they moved them, and it never worked out for them.
Yeah, it's just sad to see because, like I said, the Angels' two best players, Mike Trout, Ohtani, they just can't seem to get that success. So hopefully it will turn out good eventually. Maybe a World Series, maybe just even a triple playoffs. Looks like it'd be hard enough for the Angels.
Yeah, playoff win for Mike Trout.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he might. Yeah, Mike Trout hasn't won a playoff game, which is crazy, especially how long he's been in the league for. Got 3 league MVPs, 2 All-Star Game MVPs.
Yep.
It's disappointing. And there's another pitcher too that's been playing well this year, but yet he's out, and it looks like he might be out for the remainder of the season. Do you think Jacob DeGrom ever returns back this season?
Depending on what happens with the doctors, if they find anything, because so far they have not found anything, that is alarming. So if there isn't anything alarming, then I think, when the Mets have gone 0-50 for the rest of the year, they'll get him in for a couple. They'll get him in for a couple of starts, and just to get him out there, get fans in the seats at the end of September, October, early, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I mean, Billy and I are diehard Mets fans, and it's diehard, literally. It's painful. And you bring up Jacob DeGrom, and we're sitting here.
Emphasize the die.
I mean, we sit here, you ask us that, and we just say internally, I really hope so. Because with everything going on and the stretch they're in right now with 13 against the Giants and Dodgers, and they've already lost their first 4. And probably, I think they're losing. it's so tough to sit here and just swallow this. Like, we are taking it on the chin and knowing that if Jacob deGrom is healthy, every 5 days we have a shot at even
a good shot at a win.
At a win. Yeah, they're finally giving him run support this year. So even as a fan of baseball, you hope that he's back.
His own run support too.
Yeah,
over 400.
He's the only guy who drives and runs. But I want to say he comes back, but I'm not as confident as Billy is. I don't think.
And you were mentioning when you said when Jacob deGrom, every time he steps on the mound, you were very confident when. That's kind of like as me as a Cardinal fan. Whenever Jack Flaherty is on the mound, we have a good shot of winning.
Mm-hmm.
And Flaherty with the injury was just really disappointing. That's why I think the Cardinals aren't as good this year. But just like I said, Jacob deGrom, very good pitcher. I just did a video on him recently that's saying, with deGrom possibly out, like the Mets, he might be done for the remainder of the year because, like I said, if they can't make the postseason, you won't see Jacob deGrom again. So, with how good he is, and if he didn't get injured so much, he probably would be league MVP. So, I mean, it's kind of a disappointment.
And the Mets might even be a playoff team too at that point. I mean, you're looking at a stretch where they're without Lindor, they're without deGrom. Carrasco's not really Carlos Carrasco. He's still trying to find his way. Javi Baez, who they traded for, got hurt. This is a team that's playing. I mean, nobody expected Kevin Pillar to get everyday action. Nobody expected Jonathan VR to get everyday action. This is a team that's been ravaged by injuries, and Jacob deGrom is quite literally the biggest blow because even with all that going on behind him, he was still out there shutting teams down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, well, hopefully sometime he steps on the mound before the end of the year because, like I said, you guys have a good shot to make the playoffs if he comes back. Yeah. But, we'll end up seeing. The Field of Dreams game just happened, and it looks like they're going to do another one. What did you guys think of the performance? Because it feels like the MLB made the right decision finally. They finally made the right decision to make the Field of Dreams game. Had, over 5 million viewers, the highest rating since 2005. So what did you guys think about it?
It was awesome. The whole thing. I'm actually not a huge Field of Dreams movie fan, but I've seen it, and the opening ceremony was just chills. It was an awesome thing, awesome game. Just all around, it was great for them to do, just to include that and bring the nostalgia of the movie back, and it was great, and I hope they continue it.
I mean, it was. I didn't even get to watch it. I was stuck at work, which sucked, and which brings us to a whole different issue of blackouts, which we get into in our last episode. But I mean, like Billy said, the opening, and it really was a ceremony. It was just some sort of event that it brought back so many feelings. Like my mom watched it after the fact, and she goes, and she's not even a baseball fan at all. She actually hates baseball because every game she goes to extra innings. She hates it. She goes, that was really cool. And I'm like, yeah, Costner to be that. I thought he was going to throw out the pitch, honestly. But just seeing everybody come from the corn and maybe I think walking through the corn, Brett Gardner found a swing of his old self. It was cool to see. It was definitely a performance. But as you said, MLB finally did something right.
Yeah.
But it would have been horrible if that game went to extras. That would have been so bad.
That game, though, was electric. Like, every score except for one was a result of a home run. And, of course, the field wasn't as long. But it was really exciting because I wasn't able to watch the game either, but I was able to watch the highlights. And probably the reason why Kevin Costner didn't throw out the first pitch, probably just too old. It's probably why he didn't throw the first pitch. But it was really cool, like the way they came out of the grass, or they came out of the corn, not grass. But it was really exciting. And, like I said, they're going to do it next year. And hopefully this becomes an annual thing. And hopefully my Cardinals get to play eventually one time there. And that would be really cool, though, if they did that annually and stuff like that. It would definitely bring more viewership to the MLB, which is certainly what they need. But, yeah, it's exciting to watch, and I was excited for it.
I think they should do it a series, though, because just like they should do it at Williamsport with the Little League World Series. This this is a one-off game. Yeah, sure, but then it messes with the schedule with the travel day. I think it'd be cool to have it as a whole series there.
Yeah, that would be exciting. What do you think about that, Billy?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. They gave the Yankees and the White Sox the off day on Friday to travel back to Chicago, but screw that. Give them the off day on Thursday, and then let them play the weekend through, and then give them an off day on Monday.
Yeah, and have I think it was Fox, the broadcasting game, have Fox do the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and again, more fans, more viewership.
Yeah.
That'd be exciting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't actually think about that, but yeah, because I think this year it's gonna be the Cubs, or next year it's gonna be the Cubs and Reds, and they said I think it was the game's Thursday, then they're gonna have an off day again on Friday, then Saturday and Sunday they'll return either. I can't remember now. It was either Chicago or Cincinnati, but yeah, that's definitely a great idea. Do you guys have any? What has surprised you guys the most about this season?
There's a lot, honestly, that surprised a lot of us. Good.
No, I was just going to say the first thing that came to my mind was how quick, stadiums got back to 100% capacity. I think that was really the most surprising thing overall.
Yeah, off the field in terms of off field, yeah, definitely.
I'm just saying it was sport, man.
Yeah, as a whole, yeah. I think the sudden rise of the no-hitter was kind of crazy because, it went from being something that we saw once every couple of years or maybe twice in a couple of years to now 8, which is unheard of. I think the last time I had was the 1800s, which is crazy because of how different the game was. I mean, the fact that we had so many in a row, in 4 weeks in a row, we had a 4 no-hitter stretch. It was great. First of all, it's great for the podcast when that happens. It's always something to talk about. But I think the no-hitters and honestly how competitive the NL West has been. We said it in our previous show. This is going to be Dodgers and Padres throughout, and the Giants will hang tough. But we didn't think that the Giants were going to be a first-place team. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the Cubs fire sale even, because we thought the Cubs were going to be hanging around as well.
What a crapshoot the NL East has been.
Oh, God, yeah.
Just
the Red Sox coming back and looking like their old self up until recently. There's just a lot that happened this year that you sit back and say, never would have expected this in February.
Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, all
sticky
that.
substances.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, who would have thought we'd have sticky checks?
Yeah.
We actually had Spider Tech, and man, that stuff is sticky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, speaking of the Spider Tag, I think was it one night. It was it was Sunday Night Baseball, and I think Alex Rodriguez was showing how sticky the Spider Tack is, and it was he was literally staying on his finger for a long time. It was interesting how that worked, but it's what was that? Sorry,
it took Billy 10 minutes to get off his finger. We bought a little container. Our buddy Chris did, and we went out over to the field and we'll make a little content out of this, have some fun for the YouTube, and we didn't even use it. It was too sticky, honestly. How do these guys use it? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, the sticky substance was interesting too. I think the most surprising moment though is the Red Sox from bottom feeders to one of the best teams at one point. It seems like they do that a lot though. After winning a World Series, they're bad, good, and then they're back to being bad. It's kind of weird. But thanks for coming on, guys. Do you guys have a World Series prediction by chance?
Billy yelled one to me yesterday, and I've been thinking about it a little bit. I'm gonna have to say, that's tough because in the AL it's such a wide open field. I'm gonna have to say, and it's gonna pain me to say this, the Yankees versus the Brewers.
Interesting.
And I got Brewers in 6.
All right. I got the Brewers versus the White Sox. Brewers in 7.
Okay. I didn't expect the White Sox because I expected either the Red Sox or the Rays or, the Yankees one is interesting too because they're just trying to fight to get into the playoffs or kind of stay around that area. I mean, if I had a World Series prediction, I'd probably play it safe and go the Giants and Rays or Giants. And I think I said the Giants and Rays originally. I don't know, the Red Sox recently, as you mentioned, they've kind of fallen off a little bit. And then, like I said, that AL East is pretty competitive, unlike the NL East. But, I mean, we'll see what ends up happening. Hopefully my Cardinals, like I said, my Cardinals is kind of the same way your Mets are right now. They're kind of just average. And like I said, we're pretty much just dependent on our pitchers. So, again, hopefully we can get back to winning and stuff like that. So, again, as we end the interview, again, I can't thank you guys enough. Do you guys have anything in store for your podcast or anything else you want to add that we forgot to mention?
No, I mean, first of all, thanks for having us on. It's been fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Check out our YouTube, our Instagram, Twitter, Apple Podcast, Spotify, all that stuff. Take a picture on everything. We have merch. It's all designed by us. Everything, all our content's original stuff. The shirt I'm wearing, I don't know if you do video, but the shirt I'm wearing, it's our breast cancer awareness shirt. 20% or 25% of proceeds go to breast cancer awareness and research, stuff like that. We have a military line, design line, where 25% of profits go to helping prevent veteran suicide. We have a lot of different charity merch. We have a Tom Seaver shirt that goes to Alzheimer and dementia research. Yeah, so just check out all that stuff, and hopefully you guys like our podcast just as much as they like yours.
That sounds great. Again, thanks for coming on. We got to do it again sometime, maybe before the World Series or after or during the playoffs sometime. That's definitely when baseball, in my opinion, is the most exciting. So, again, thanks for coming on. I'll put all the links down in the description down below. And, again, I can't thank you guys enough for coming on, and have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Town Podcast, or the STP Pod for short. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and much more. Also, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Sports Town Podcast. If you want to check out more videos of the Sports Town Podcast, click on the right.